Welcome to our podcast, where we explore the fascinating world of logic and critical thinking. If you love learning and uncovering the hidden layers of arguments, you're in the right place. Subscribe now for free educational content that not only enhances your understanding but also sparks meaningful conversations. Join our community of inquisitive minds and let's dive in together. Today, we're delving into a crucial aspect of logic: assumptions. In any argument, there are often hidden or unstated beliefs that support the conclusions being drawn. These are known as assumptions. Just like the foundation of a building, assumptions form the hidden structure that holds up an argument. When we identify these unstated beliefs, we not only improve our critical thinking but also ensure that our arguments are robust and sound. Think of the statement, "We should invest in electric vehicles because they reduce pollution." At first glance, it seems straightforward. But this argument is built on assumptions that reducing pollution is a goal worth pursuing and that electric vehicles genuinely reduce pollution in a meaningful way. If either of these assumptions is faulty, the conclusion falls apart. Understanding this connection between assumptions and arguments can significantly enhance your analytical skills. Historical philosophers, such as Stephen Tolman, highlighted these hidden premises in his model of argumentation, calling them warrants. Tolman's perspective encourages us to examine not only the claims we make but also the underlying assumptions that link evidence to those claims. By recognizing assumptions, we can engage more deeply with the arguments we encounter, both in academic settings and in everyday life. Now, let's explore another layer of assumptions: the difference between explicit and implicit assumptions. Explicit assumptions are openly stated, while implicit assumptions are more subtle and easily overlooked. For instance, if someone says, "She's a doctor, so she must be an excellent manager," the explicit assumption is clear. However, the implicit assumption that medical training inherently prepares one for management roles might not hold true. This shows how implicit assumptions can reveal biases and unchecked beliefs that may undermine arguments. Sociologists like Pierre Bourdieu argue that many social inequalities persist because of these hidden beliefs. In our daily interactions, implicit assumptions can be found in job descriptions or advertising messages that convey societal norms and expectations. Therefore, becoming a critical thinker means learning to identify both explicit and implicit assumptions. Moving on, let's discuss the importance of testing our assumptions against evidence. This is a key skill for critical thinking. An assumption might feel obvious or self-evident, but once challenged, it can reveal different insights. For example, the assumption that older workers are less productive has been proven false through numerous studies that detail the advantages of experience and reliability among older professionals. Similarly, the historical miasma theory once posited that diseases were caused by bad air. This outdated assumption only changed after scientists like Louis Pasteur and Robert Koch rigorously tested it and demonstrated otherwise, revolutionizing medical understanding. Testing assumptions invites us to ask questions like, what evidence supports this assumption, or could an alternative explanation exist? This critical examination supports not only scientific progress but also personal decision-making. Next, let's consider how assumptions connect evidence to conclusions. In any argument, assumptions fill in the gaps between the evidence we present and the conclusions we draw. For instance, if the evidence states, smoking rates have declined, the argument might conclude, public health campaigns are working. But this relies on the assumption that public health campaigns are indeed the cause of the decline, rather than other contributing factors. The ancient philosopher Plato recognized the significance of assumptions in argumentation, stressing that our understanding of knowledge itself depends on these foundational beliefs. Assumptions must be critically evaluated to uphold the strength of any argument. Now, let's discuss cultural and social assumptions, which are significantly shaped by the society and time period we live in. These assumptions can often become so ingrained that we don't even recognize them. For instance, we commonly assume that democracy is the most effective form of government. Yet, this belief varies across different cultures and historical contexts. The ancient Greeks believed democracy would only function well in small city-states, while contemporary views suggest it can thrive even in larger nations. This evolution shows that our assumptions are not fixed but rather fluid, changing as our societies develop. Recognizing these cultural assumptions enables critical thinkers to evaluate what we often accept as common sense. Next, let's highlight self-assumptions, which are the beliefs we hold about ourselves. Thoughts like "I am not good at math" or "I could never learn a new language" can limit our potential significantly. Psychologist Carol Dweck's research on fixed versus growth mindset illustrates how these beliefs impact performance. Students who view intelligence as something that can be developed generally achieve better results than those who see it as a fixed trait. By challenging these self-imposed limitations and asking ourselves whether our beliefs are truly justified, we can unlock our full capabilities. This kind of self-reflection plays a crucial role in personal development. As we transition to the field of science, we see that science, too, is built on assumptions, the underlying principles that guide research and help inform our interpretation of findings. Assumptions such as the universe being orderly or the belief that scientific evidence is our best path to truth are foundational to scientific inquiry. The philosopher Karl Popper emphasized that scientific assumptions must be falsifiable, suggesting they must be open to being proven wrong. Historical shifts in scientific understanding, such as Einstein's theory of relativity or Darwin's evolution theory, challenge existing assumptions and propel breakthroughs. Critical thinkers within science must be willing to scrutinize even the most entrenched beliefs in order to further understanding and foster innovation. Furthermore, we encounter common assumption fallacies that can mislead reasoning. The begging the question fallacy assumes what it's trying to prove, and the appeal to tradition assumes that old methods are always better. For example, asserting, "we've always done it this way, so it must be the best way," rests on an unfounded assumption. Another historical example includes the medical community's long-held assumption that diseases were tied to bodily humors, which led to ineffective treatments for centuries. Challenging such conventions requires us to question the assumptions that underlie our beliefs and to seek out evidence that either supports or contradicts them. Let's also touch on how media messages depend on assumptions. News, advertisements, and social media posts often rely on hidden assumptions about their audience. A news article might presume readers already understand the importance of certain values. An advertisement could suggest that its audience aspires to be younger or more successful, playing on implicit beliefs. Media literacy has emerged as a field dedicated to examining these underlying assumptions. For instance, the Critical Viewing Project encourages students to question the origins and perspectives behind media messages. Identifying these assumptions equips us to be more informed consumers and protects us from manipulation. Lastly, mastering the ability to identify and evaluate assumptions can deeply enhance your critical thinking capability. By dissecting arguments, asking what assumptions are at play, and considering whether they are supported by evidence, you develop a more nuanced understanding of the discussion at hand. The philosopher John Dewey referred to this as reflective thinking, where we actively consider our beliefs in light of the evidence supporting them. Engaging in this practice not only sharpens your thinking but transforms your approach to challenges and questions in everyday life. With time and effort, you will come to see assumptions everywhere in discussions, decisions, and societal norms. Gaining this awareness will reshape your thinking and enhance your ability to navigate complex arguments. To wrap up, we've explored the importance of assumptions in arguments. We learned that assumptions serve as the invisible connections between evidence and claims, and understanding them is vital for developing critical thinking skills. We discussed different types of assumptions, explicit and implicit, and examined how testing these assumptions against evidence can reveal deeper insights. Additionally, we addressed cultural, social, personal, and scientific assumptions, and how they shape our understanding of the arguments we encounter daily. By recognizing and questioning these assumptions, we can become more critical thinkers and informed participants in various discussions. Thank you for joining us today on this journey through the world of logic and assumptions. We hope you now have a clearer understanding of how assumptions influence arguments and decision-making. As you embark on your quest for knowledge, remember to keep questioning the hidden beliefs that shape your understanding of the world. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast for more engaging educational content, and until next time, keep thinking critically and exploring new ideas.